What's good, Ken Gonda? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another collaboration and a good interview for you, brothers and sisters. Happy holidays to all the family that's been supporting the channel. And today I have one of my really good friends. I would say, in a way, on accident, he's more like a mentor in this space. He is a very deep thinker. I would say when it comes to understanding the pro-black mind or the Pan-African mind. I don't know too many brothers that are better than this brother here. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself and what he in his channel. Go ahead, brother.
What's going on? Yeah, I'm George Macon, man. We started the Urban Nerds Worldwide a couple months ago. You guys can go over to my new YouTube channel, Urban Nerds Worldwide, where we talk about we're bringing Black intelligence back to the community. We're actually putting, like I said, Black intelligence on the forefront, no longer the back burner. And we talk about topics like this, Black history, African history, and all the proper way, and how we can move going forward. So, that's what I'm about. You guys can find me over at the new YouTube channel, Urban Nerds Worldwide.
Okay. All right. And brother George, you've been very supportive of me and been watching, this channel since it's been, very small and now it's growing. And we kept in contact almost every day when I was in Uganda. And we've had a lot of conversations over the past years about Pan-Africanism, different strategies. You're from one of the blackest cities in America, which is the great city of Philadelphia. So you are very knowledgeable in many things to do with not only African American history, but neo-colonialism. And one of the very good sister by the name of the Diaspora channel, Kay from the Diaspora channel, and we were discussing about the diaspora not kind of taking business serious when it comes back, going back to the continent, and you see people like the Chinese, the Indians, you see the Europeans taking advantage of opportunities where it seems like the blacks are not. And I want to read a comment before we get into that. Actually, you know what? There was a brother that left a comment. I'm gonna put it here on the screen. I can't find it right now, but this is what the brother said. If he said in so many words that you can't compare the struggle of the African diaspora and you compare them to the Chinese because there's two different communities with two different circumstances. And you actually agreed with that point, right?
We say it one more time. I can't compare.
Yeah. No, you actually agreed with the point that you can't compare the Chinese to the African American community or the Caribbean community. Or why do you say that?
First of all, I think it's disrespectful to even come on to YouTube in 2020 and speak about African Americans not taking business serious in Africa, and comparing it to what's going on with the people from India and China and Europe. I think you're doing us a disservice, and I think at some point we got to revamp this pro-black and this Pan-African thing, because the old Pan-African way is dead. It's been destroyed. And we doing our people a disservice. And I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna be very controversial today. You know why I'm gonna be controversial and borderline disrespectful? Because I really love Africa, and I really love my people here in the diaspora. And we're gonna have to change our way of thinking if we're gonna go forward. Because this BS that's being told to us now, man, come on, stop it.
Let me ask you, Brother George, because in all fairness to the video, it said the African diaspora, which included African Americans. So it wasn't just directed at African Americans, but even the Africans that left and don't come back. What would you say about them?
I understood what it was, and I understand why a lot of them leave and don't come back. And we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. We're gonna get into when you're dealing with these underdeveloped nations in Africa. Let me just say this before I first start, and let's just deal with the aspect, the psychology behind it. If anywhere you go, and whether you're dealing in Africa or South America or Central America, any one of these places that's mentally rich or rich in natural resources for the development of other nations, stronger nations that come in with military is going to always keep those countries poor, dilapidated, and and unable to develop themselves because they have the strongest potential to compete.
Okay.
So you would never allow places like in Uganda or South Africa, the indigenous people of those lands to ever be in control of those resources to compete. If economically you got your foot on their necks, you're not going to go into South America and allow the indigenous people to control the resources. You're going to have foreign people there that control the banks, the money, or if you do have some indigenous people in power, they're going to be controlled by the stronger nations. That's why when you look at West Africa, they're trying to bring the echo in now, and I'll get into why they're doing that. They're only doing that now. They're trying to change the rules of the way that they handle these West African and Central African nations.
Okay. So let me kind of go backwards because you said this old way of Pan-Africanism is dead. What did you mean by that?
This Black utopia. We all, you got to remember, see, here in the diaspora, we was taught when we were growing up, and you would know this, that Africa, and you see the difference now because you've made the trips.
Okay.
But when you was just a kid in Los Angeles and in California, we was taught that Africa was just utopia. When you get to Africa, everything is, it's going to be Zamunda.
Okay.
They gave us Zamunda. Then they gave the younger generation of Wakanda, and we thought this African thing was, man, I got to get the hell out of America and get to Africa, man. I'm going to have a beautiful woman, fruits and vegetables. It's going to be warm. I'm going to be home. I'm going to be safe. Not realizing that when you in Nigeria and you go to Ghana, you a goddamn foreigner.
Okay.
They got borders. They're colonized. They're just as messed up. They'll put white people ahead of you. Okay. Like they have colonized minds the same way we got cool colonized minds here in America. A lot of us didn't understand that until some of us started to travel to understand. That's one aspect of it. But
Okay. Now let me ask you this, because you said that, it's disrespectful to the diaspora because, China is there, Indians there, and in some cases, I know that some Indians come there with not even a lot of money. They come poor and they become successful. What do you think that stops, the blacks that come from Africa that have resettled and going back to do the same thing, or the Caribbean community or the African American community, the same thing? What stops that?
Because China is pouring billions and billions of dollars into Africa, and there's a race going on between the European nations, China, and parts of India. These nations to restructure and rebuild Africa to be in control of those resources. Mm-hmm. They always talk about Africa's debt. Let's just put this in perspective. How the F could Africa ever have a debt? I mean, when we talk this Pan-Africans, pro-black stuff, like I'm scratching my head, like, are we serious? Until we get to the point where we can really get that part. A debt? What do you mean? Like they use this stuff, but we're going in and we're going to build infrastructure. It was the European countries and other nations that kept the countries underdeveloped for a reason, for purpose. And then you say you want to come and develop us and put us in debt, and you be talking this pro-black Pan-Africanism, and we're saying that the reason why Africans can't come and develop the way we would because we don't have a diaspora that's there to facilitate it. China is doing all kinds of economic reform in Ethiopia, which is like the Horn of Africa and the gateway to get into Sudan and Somalia and Ethiopia and all these other countries to get to the resources. But they basically took over Ethiopia. They're in so many different nations, rebuilding everything. So a Chinese person is safer in China based off of economic reform than I would be because I don't have a diaspora to protect me.
Mm-hmm. You mean safer in Africa?
Yes, they're safer in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Because Africa, they're saying now that I don't know, either it's fake or it's real, but they got police departments in South Africa. It's like 500,000 Chinese down there. Man, listen, man, like we don't have an intact military.
Okay.
Or our actual diaspora is underdeveloped Africa. That's getting money from everybody else. So how the hell one O'Shea can go there and maybe do some things, but 400,000, 500,000 of us can't go there like that. to do things because we can't compete economically because we don't have an African diaspora to protect us like China and those other countries do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me ask your opinion. I know I'm gonna light this fire, but you know, the African Union doesn't seem to do the right job in connecting. You know, it's like individual people trying to do the work, like, you know, maybe certain things. But what use do you think the African Union does? Because, you know, China's supporting its people. What is the African Union, you feel, doing to connect the, you know, the diaspora to opportunities, or to connect Black people to do things? What role do they have in it?
How can the African Union do anything when you have, like I said, you have the CFA franc going out? And for a long period of time, when it was established in 45, they in order for them to back that currency, you know, with, you know, behind the euro, they was taking 50% of their foreign currency reserves. Now, through ECHO, they're trying to change that. But the only reason why they're trying to change that is because of the infiltration of China, and they're trying to change relations. So if you are already economically strapped and controlled by foreign invaders that's coming in, that's controlling your money, that you're doing deals with, billion-dollar deals with, I don't understand something. They were saying that Africa would have to spend $170 billion per year to redevelop them. China is the one, is the huckleberry now that's giving the money, that's helping them develop. Because Africa's coming up billions of dollars short. China's coming in. So the African Union ain't worth nothing because they don't have the economic power. They don't have the economic power and military to tell these other nations, man, get the hell out. So you got to understand something. China, Europe, their lifestyle is predicated on resources from Africa. So they're not going nowhere unless you have a military to tell them to get the hell out, and we're going to divvy our resources the way we see fit. China and these other countries ain't doing that. So what I'm saying is this Pan-Africanist BS and this pro-Black stuff got to stop, because most African nations are not Pan-African or pro-Black today.
What do you mean when you say that's an interesting point? What do you mean when you say that, Brother George?
Well, if you're going up through generations where you're taught to look at white as the standard, white is the standard of beauty, white is the standard of success, and you're looking at your country being depleted and underdeveloped, and you're looking at the European nations and China and all these other nations coming in with money, they're building stuff, they're hiring your people. You're going off to their countries, to their colleges. So to graduate from a European college is better than your own. You're coming to America and you strive to be in America, and white folks is the ones allowing you to come, and you don't even see the relevance of your African son or the beauty of your own land and your people. You can't wait to get the hell out of there. Mm-hmm. And this has all been orchestrated and done by the puppet master. These European and Chinese nations that's keeping those countries that way so they can steal your resources for their own development. They don't want you to be. I mean, you know how powerful the Nigerians would be? You gotta understand something, man. Africa is producing children at an alarming rate.
Right.
To around the world. Nigeria, they said in about 2050, Nigeria itself. Woo! Like the way, so China and these other people are trying to get involved in that because the economic surplus behind that will be astounding. So what they're trying to do is develop these nations and be in control of the economic markets of these African people that's developing. I mean, no matter what they've done, can't stop them. The babies from coming. So allow the babies to come, create an economic market in Africa like they did here in America, going forward, and control it.
So let me ask you this, because I did a show with Brother Dynasty Amir, and you make some strong points, but you said a lot of people, the African Americans, there are African Americans that are doing things in the continent, but it's a lot of them that just, if they choose to repatriate, there's a lot of African Americans that live, there's some African Americans that live overseas. It's a good number that live in places like the DR. I know you've been to Cuba, you've been to, places in Latin America, and they will choose to, spend their money to go to, expensive vacations in London. They will go to Paris, and, the African American community does, have a spending power of a very high spending power, and instead of possibly looking at an opportunity to do something in Africa, they use that opportunity to do other things with that money, instead of trying to work together with the continent, or even in the Black community in America, to come together to do things. What would your response be to that?
I mean, I love Dynasty Samir, man, and I love his efforts. He's been doing this for a long time. I remember I used to argue with him back and forth years back on his channel. He used to go to Africa all the time and talk and call us Dusty. But the thing is, man, even here in the diaspora, we have all the spending power, but we don't have our indigenous minds no more. We don't know who we are here in the Americas, and we don't know who we are in Africa. We are integrated. We are basically in the minds. We are integrated Europeans and brown skin. We don't think power. We don't think competition. We think get jobs. We're still saying, well, what is these people going to do for us? Reparations. We're still saying, we're still basically asking. We're not taking power. These other nations don't ask. Just think about it, man. We're going to the same people we complain about, and we're asking for reparations. We're asking for power. The same people that took power from us, that benefits from our dysfunction. So our whatever trillion and whatever spending power don't mean nothing. That's why I'm saying we got to stop this nonsense, man. This is nonsense. And a lot of these people that's coming before us in the name of Pan-Africanism, to me, are paid agents to keep you in the same mindset that we've been in, that's getting us nowhere. Mm-hmm. You're going to the same person, the same people that benefits from your dysfunction for them to give you something? What type of leverage do you have? How have you forced their hand to do anything? See, you gotta understand something. China is now Africa's biggest trade partner with over $200 billion a year, according to they have over 10,000 Chinese-owned firms and are currently operating throughout African continent. They have all the leverage in the world to make Africans play whatever way they want. What do we have? So miss me with that spending power bull crap. Stop it. Let's tell the people the truth on what's going on. China has a military that if Africa get out of line, we got something for that ass.
Right.
I'm sick of this nonsense. Like we're being lied to, and we got to tell this truth. This ain't an anti-African rant. This ain't an anti-diaspora rant. What this is we have to revamp and bring the Pan-Africanism way of thinking up to 2020. Mm-hmm. Because even back in the 60s, it was revolts going on in America and all across Africa. They was kicking up dust. Right. What we doing right now? What y'all gonna do for us? We need our reparations. And America's like, man, shut your ass up. Joe Biden don't give a god. Listen, Joe Biden, Obama, none of them, they won't even mention reparations. We haven't even heard them mention it. You know why? Because we have no leverage.
How? Let me ask you this, because with, where is a start that you think? Let's say for somebody listening to this right now on the premiere, or they're coming back and listening and say, well, the brother's making some strong points. I never thought about it like that. This is different. Whether you're a brother on the continent, or you somewhere in the United States or Canada or Europe, a person says, okay, George, well then how do we start, to get leverage? What is it that we can do as a community, as a diaspora, to start working towards that?
Well, two things gonna have to happen. We're gonna have to get some Black pride here in America and understand what the Black pride should be. It should be about power and economics. And we need to build a culture around that dictates how we treat each other. But African nations have to do it as well. Africa is the daddy. We're just the child. Africa has to do it. And it's going to be hard to do it. It's going to be hard to do it when you have all these other countries there building infrastructure, and they're spending billions of dollars. We're not in a position to compete with China, O'Shea. We're not in a position to compete with India. We're not in a position to compete And just think about this, O'Shea. This is the part that's disheartening and it's sad. It's heartbreaking because I'm a person that really care. I was raised in a pro-black nationalist household.
Mm-hmm.
We was raised where I understood. I was taught two things. I was taught that we was indigenous to America, but also I had African families, and I was taught to love Africa. I was taught to look towards Africa as the motherland, as the fatherland, all of that. But when you have your diaspora that we look to, that would be the people that we would look to for protection, for economics, to help us develop here, they can't help us. The Chinese have nations behind them. When you was in Ethiopia, if somebody bust your fucking head, your head just be bust. But let a Chinese person come there and be going to a college or something, or developing something there, and they start killing Chinese. The Chinese nations back there, man. Listen, it's gonna be a problem because they have what the hell do America care about black folks back in Africa? That's what they want you to take your ass back to anyway. They ain't gonna do nothing. O'Shea, just think about it. Who is our diaspora? You're right. Who's going to help us? Who has economic investment? Now I will say this. I'll say this. I'll flip it around. I'll do it this way. If we really want power, America has economic investment in the black people here.
Right.
But we don't know how to leverage it.
Okay.
We have to leverage our power by, at some point, be willing to lose everything to gain everything.
Mm-hmm.
We have to let these white folks in America and this corporate structure just know how important we are to them.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we keep supporting the system and complaining about the system, you want reparations, but you get up and go to work every day for the system.
Right.
You vote in the system every day.
Right.
The system is like, don't take you seriously. Now see, because remember, we use this. We're a multi-trillion-dollar operation here. We ain't, because we don't leverage our power. See, we can't turn to Africa and get protection military-wise. Or if somebody killed an African American here, African nations can't speak. To be fair, it may be African nations that may look and say they don't like this, but what power do they have to speak up against America to really get anything done when they doing infrastructure and business deal for the people there? They don't have the power. They're controlled by other European nations. It's controlled opposition. So they don't have the power. So we can't turn to Africa. So then we turn to ourselves, but then we're traders amongst ourselves. So how much is it? We said $1 trillion spending power?
Yes.
How do we leverage that, O'Shea? We can't leverage it. But these other nations can leverage their power. But they'll tell you, listen, we're going to send 200,000 Chinese people here, and we're going to spend $30 billion to develop these two regions here. But the deal is nobody can touch our people, and we want to send our people there to develop the countries. Our people, not yours. We want to send our people there for jobs and to develop these. Man, listen, they got the game checkmated because they have the money. Man, for years, when they had the Frank controlling these West African nations and parts of the Central African nations, we had to put 50% of our earnings there. Man, we could have used that to develop West Africa, to have power, where places like Ghana and Nigeria could have turned around and told America, don't touch my people. Shit, by DNA, where I don't really believe in all that, but by DNA test, I'm 42% Nigerian. Mm-hmm. I should better turn to Nigeria and say, yo, what's up? Get over here. I mean, if we're gonna use that, I'm 40 out of my 60-something% African. I'm 42% Nigerian. That's damn near half of me.
Right.
You mean to tell me I can't go to Nigeria with that and say, hey, I need to get citizenship. I'm home. Come on, what's really happening here? So miss me with the Pan-African. We got to stop the lie. And I want Africans to stop coming on here, stop talking about trade and all those different things and us coming back. And I want us to stop this Pan-African stuff until we tell the truth about who's putting the real economics in Africa, who's building the infrastructure, and who has the military backing to get that done. We don't have that. We don't have the money to build roads and make deals. They making deals in Eritrea. War done broke out between Eritrea and Ethiopia, and China's upset because it threatens their infrastructure. But I guarantee you, they got so much money invested in Ethiopia. If that war gets real bad, they're gonna back Ethiopia to destroy Eritrea because of the money and because of their access down in the Horn of Africa to get to all those other East African nations. In Ethiopia. Let's stop playing these games, man. I'm sorry, man. I get passionate because you know me. I love black people, man.
Right.
I love my people, man. I always tell you, it would break my heart to go to Africa to see African women falling out over crusty white men.
You tell me that all the time.
Oh my God. I can't leave here with all the cooning, buffooning, and gibberooning here and then go to Africa and see our beautiful women falling for some old white man because she's been conditioned in her mind to believe that he's better than anything that she got there. It's all psychological, O'Shea. Mm-hmm. You keep generations of people underdeveloped, and then you go in through the back door with your Jesus Christ and your resources, so they look at you as the savior. Mm-hmm. That's what they've done to us. They've done the same thing here. We're complaining about reparations, but we get up and go to work every day without leveraging our power. And this is gonna be unpopular. A lot of people gonna like me. I don't give a damn. But I gotta come tell the truth, man. I gotta tell the truth. And I know a lot of people, you know, as black people, nobody more spiritual than us. We got many spiritual beliefs. But I feel like I've been called by the Most High to come out and tell our people the truth, man. The uncomfortable truth. I don't want to hear none of that shea butter crap, man. I don't use the Hotep stuff because I don't like people disrespecting Hotep. You got to disrespect a great ancient African to make light of other black people. We need to use different words, because if we knew the aspect of who Hotep was, we would actually try to gain power through that. Not use Hotep to disrespect other black people. That's another colonized way of thinking and ignorance, because we don't even know who we are. We don't even know what the greatness we come from. You're taking something that was great and desecrating it, while at the same time trying to get a Becky or a bottom shelf Brad. Like, we got to get out of this mindset. So we don't have no spending power. We don't have no spending power because we don't control it. We don't control it through our cultured mind. Other groups do. That's why when they come to Africa, they flourish right away, because they come in their intact language with a mission, and they're being backed by their diaspora. They're being backed by their nations. Mm-hmm. They're being backed, so they come right in and they're over top of you right away. Mm-hmm. Right away. They come in, whether you in America or Africa. They come in and they outperform you. Not because we're born with one less chromosome, not because we're monkeys or any of that. It's because we're underdeveloped, and we've been decultured in the mind, and we've been taught to put everybody else before ourselves, everywhere. And until Mother Africa figures out a way to get France off their behind and get in control of their own resources and tell China no to build their own. See, and my thing is, I'm not over there on the ground, so I don't know how the UN can extract money to build their own stuff. I think there's going to have to be a war for it, and Africa's going to have to just be willing to die. But they got to get everything. It has to stop.
Well, Brother George, you definitely have brought the heat today. I think this is definitely, there's no interview I think on YouTube is going to be like this. And so I thank you for bringing a much different perspective, which I wanted to do with this channel. I wanted to make it a more hardcore, more pro-black in the thought, more challenging the positions that are kind of out there. Even if some people may not agree, we want to be able to bring out the dialogues for everybody in the diaspora, from the African American community, from the African community, to come on and say what they have to say. Brother, go ahead because you're gonna have some people in this comment section. There's gonna be a lot of people in the comment section. But where can they find, your social media, find your YouTube to promote right now to the people out there?
Okay, well, I have my George Macon 2 channel where I'm live over there. But what we did was, I seen a lot of things that I don't like in the community. So instead of me making videos and talking about people, I decided to do something. I created my nonprofit or 501c3 organization here in Philadelphia, where we take young disadvantaged Black kids on college tours. We're working on creating a robotics team, a debate league. We're working on developing the minds of young Black people here in America. And the reason why I called it worldwide, because I want to one day get them to Nigeria. I want to get them to places. I want to get them to Senegal. I want them to see Africa. I want to take them to Brazil. I want to take them around the world out of the environments that we come from and let them see the world so they can start having a global view of what this Black thing is about. So I decided to do my part and do something about it, because it's time that we start being about it. If you're sick and tired of being tired, we got to do something about it. We got to speak on it. And one last thing, we got to speak about, if we're going to talk this Pan-African pro-Black stuff, we got to talk about Africa's debt and who controls it. We got to talk about who's building Africa, because these are the people that's in power. These are the people that's going to be chosen first over us every single time, because the governments is in cahoots. Places like Kenya and places like that, like we got to talk about who owns these things, who's controlling the airports. These African leaders, who do they answer to behind the scenes? Remember, last thing, they always show you Africa, right? And they show you the tourist places. They show you the tourist places. They show you the villages. But those holes in the ground where they extracting resources from, you never see them on TV. They never got videos of those no-fly zones. You can't fly over those gold mines, diamond mines, coltan mines. They're not showing you that. You don't see the the export, where they just exporting billions of resources every day out of Africa. That's something they don't want you to see. We want power. We need to start demanding that. What's going on there? That's what we got to go with it, where the power is. They don't show you South America and what they're doing in there, extracting those resources out of there. They just show you poor villages and vacation resorts. We got to get our head out of our asses, man. The coltan comes from somewhere. We want to see what you're doing over there in the Congo with that coltan. Who's controlling it? Who's controlling the airplanes that's going in and out? We want to know. That's our motherland. We coming back home. We want our corner back. We want everything back. If we ain't talking that way, please shut up. And don't talk no Pan-African nonsense to me. I don't want to hear it in 2020. Unless we're going to really be Pan-Africanists. I'm done.
All right. Well, again, I have some interesting friends in the pro-Black community, as you guys can see. And so we're definitely going to be continuing to bring different guests on to broaden the scope. I'm willing to talk to, anybody, from the African diaspora, particularly, I will give preference for people to the Ugandan community and the Kenyan community, because that's where the channel is based out of. But I'm just so glad that, we have people wanting to come on and share their experiences and share their thought process. And Brother George, you did a really excellent job today on the topic. And guys, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, check out Kinganda here, check out the Urban Nerds. And as you brothers know, keep it real.
Go ahead, George. Shout out to the African people on the ground that we don't see, that do think the way we think. Because I know that I know that they're there. Let me put that in there. I have to put shout out to the Africans on the ground all throughout Africa that do think the way that I think, that do love Mother Africa, because I know that you're there. But I know here in the West, they're not going to promote that or show it. So don't think that we don't know that you're there. So shout out to you guys.
All right. Again, thank you so much for the wonderful interview, brother. And guys, check out all his information at the first comment pinned to the top. And keep it real. Kinganda forever. I'm out.
Welcome to Urban Nerds Worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, George Macon. Last year, me and my partner Marvin Burrell decided to launch the Urban Nerds Initiative. And one would ask the question, what is Urban Nerds Worldwide? And what is it created for? Well, growing up in the city of Philadelphia, in urban areas that was plagued by violence, drugs, death, A lot of our children never got the opportunity to compete on a large scale or go to college or even graduate from high school. Our kids never learned the sciences, never learned mathematics where they can get proper jobs and do things where they would be able to exhibit pro-social behavior in society. So in launching the Urban Nerds, me and my partner Marvin Barrow now is creating something where the children now can learn something different to the optics. Coming from urban areas, we want to extract them from those urban areas for certain periods of time and take them on college tours. We want to expose them to science camps that maybe they would never have the opportunity to get into because they can't afford them. Well, through the foundation, we want to be able to get these kids in these camps with the other ethnic groups where they have the ability to compete. Black and Puerto Rican kids from urban areas, a lot of our children just will never have the opportunity. So Urban Nerds now is fighting for our children. We need public support. We need your support. We're out here, we're championing. Our children are our future. Without our children, we go nowhere. So we have to invest in our children. We have to love our children. And we have to believe in our children. So look for us at a city near you, Urban Nerds Worldwide.